It ain't too late for Rudy. Rudy, 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 Rudy. All right. Sorry for being corny there, but I just want to quickly react to Game 3, which I just played. Just when I thought I wasn't able to play at all, well, guess what? I'm still back on schedule. So, I was able to do Game 3. Yes, I still have enough storage on my phone. I had to restart. I don't know why I have to do that, especially with the last phone. Where just when I had to erase some stuff, when the storage memory is about to, is about to be full, right? But, despite all the erasing, it just doesn't go down for some reason. And I learned you have to restart your phone, which I have been doing from my last phone as well. And I'm doing the same thing with this phone. So, which I did, and I still was able to record the game, and, success. So, I ended up being in the park, nobody was there. Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of light. So, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I can still be able to play, which I did. So I was able to see the court pretty well. I mean, considering the court was non-lighted, but for the most part, it wasn't really a problem. I'm still able to see the rim. Maybe not as, I know the rim itself is not lit, but for the most part, the court is, and I'm still able to make my shots. I still made about a few threes. I think I made, if I'm not mistaken, 4 of them, including a 4-pointer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think I still made about a few threes regardless, and I had a pretty big lead in the second half. So, that just goes to show. I mean, even with a little bit of light on the court, considering it was a non-lighted court, I was still able to perform pretty well. Yeah, it was close in the beginning. I was down 7 early, but I did not panic. I was still able to make a comeback with my floaters, and it was still a close game throughout. Made my first 3, I think, when I got to 25-24. If I'm not, sorry. When I cut the lead from 4 to 1, when I was 15-19, now it was 18-19. Made another one just before the first, half ended. So, yeah, I missed a jumper. I was down 27-20. No, I think it was 25-26. I was down, and then I got to review this game. But for the most part, in the second half, I was able to get a good rhythm going and hit a bunch of jumpers, and a couple of threes, and all good, man. I think I hit a 4-pointer, going into the, into the later in the second half. So for the most part, I was already away. I was already up by as many as, if I'm not mistaken, 15. So, it was already a blowout for the final 2 minutes when it got to the rotation and mid-range and threes. So, yeah, man. I mean, for the most part, even if I started out late and after work, I mean, hey, I still had the option to do so. You know what I'm saying? So, good for me. I got to do Game 3, even though I missed out earlier because I was a total retard for not bringing my lunch. Totally forgot. Thank God for my sister. Thank you to her. Thanks to her, she brought my lunch, and even if I just bought lunch, just everything just so I was able to eat my lunch, and all was good, man. So yeah, for the most part, good game. Good performance, and even with a little bit of light, it's it's still about the same performance I had. Like pretty much a little more similar to the first game. So the first game was a lopsided win. Here it was about to be another double-digit win until I missed, I think, another 3, or no, actually I missed a jumper. But yeah, I still won by 9 though, 56-47, and don't let the box score fool you. Even though I won, I barely won in single digits. It was already a double-digit lead for the final 2 minutes, so all I had to do was just run the clock. The game was already out of hand when I was already up in double digits. So comfortably I won, despite winning by only 9 after that missed jumper. So I just had to wait to hold the ball for the final 10 seconds, which I did. Smart for me, and yeah, all good. Once again, for the third game in a row, there were no out of bounds calls. None. So far in the semifinals, 0 timeouts, zero timeout usage, and 0 out of bounds calls. That is impressive. Now, I know this series is not nearly as hard as the first one, so I can understand. But for the most part, to play as seriously as I've been doing, to play a little bit more disciplined, considering this is the first season tournament, I made sure that I kept the game clean, even though the level of this game is actually more, it's less hard. It will start to get harder in games. Well, next game is not really going to be that hard either. The only thing that's going to be different in game 4 is, yes, no consecutive same shot floaters like with game 2, but instead of going forward on the second half, it's going to be backwards. So it starts with the one free throw, or the one free throw attempt, and then the floater, and then the turnaround, the mid-range, and then the 4, and you know the rest, right? So yeah, that one shouldn't be too hard. I still got 3 more to go. I'm 3-0. You can already tell right now with the likes of me just watching Gil's Arena, so often, and just enjoying what they talk about and all that, and less of first things first from last year. I mean, last year was first things first. This year was Gil's Arena, right? So for the most part, just being inspired by them this year. It's clearly a much better semifinals, and I am up 3-0. So I met my expectations, and I think as long as I get to the finals, and even if I lost, I will not. I mean, yeah, it's going to be disappointing, but it's not going to feel as bad, because at least I have already reached another level, which means the next round, which will be the finals. I have thought about this, but I'm going to give it some more thought. I will talk about it in another video when I get a chance to. I'm going to have a finals. Like how the NBA does their first 3 rounds in their own conference, right? And then when it gets to the finals, it's the NBA finals against the other conference, right? East versus West. I thought about doing something like that just to make it much harder, but we'll see. We'll see how things go, because right now it's clear to me that I'm having a really good series, and I really don't feel too much pressure considering the level of difficulty on this one. However, the games are going to get harder starting in game 5 and 6, going back home to Cerritos Park East. So we'll see how it goes from there. I mean, when you close out such games, yeah, they're always going to be tough. The hardest, and I agree with them. Who's the one that said that the closeout games to advance are the hardest games to play? Let's say if you're up by if you're up 3-1, or you're up 3-2, and you got to close out one more game, that's usually the hardest game, because the other opponent is gonna really toughen up and do everything they can in their power to force, whether it's a game 6, a game 5, or game 6 or a game 7. But that's the nature of a closeout game. I think it was Richard Jefferson. So but either way, I totally agree with that take. And so by the time it comes to game 5 and 6, those games are going to get harder. Will they be as ridiculously hard as my elimination games? I don't think so to that extent, but I do think that the games will be more competitive in terms of the level of it being much harder. I mean, the level becoming from moderate to hard at the most, right? For games 5 and 6, I don't think they should be that ridiculously hard. Hell, if I was able to pull through at games 9 through 11 with the level of difficulty in the Eastgate series, then I think I should have no problem doing so for this one. But we'll see. I mean, it's I got to get through game 4 first. So celebrate the moment, and then I guess the car was waiting to, same thing here, was waiting to cross on the other side, so I could have slowed down a little bit more, but whatever. All right, well, that's all I got to say about it, man. Just tell me what you guys think. Peace out.